All right. Hi again, and welcome to everybody who is joining us tonight for a poetry book launch. We are so thrilled. I've personally been really looking forward to helping Kelli Stevens Kane celebrate her new collection, Hallelujah Science. She's joined tonight by Rose M. Smith, Adriana E. Ramirez, and Mariahadessa Ekere Tallie for reading. And I think this is going to be a really wonderful night. We're really thankful to all of you for being here with us. So a little bit about White Whale Bookstore quickly. I'm Anna, I'm the events manager at White Whale Bookstore. We are a general interest, family-owned independent bookstore in Pittsburgh. This is not White Whale. We're still just doing virtual events for now, but we're lucky enough to get to do events like this virtually, and that bringing together a lot of people from, at this point, these events let us do things with people across the country. It's still really special, and what makes book events always special. So we couldn't do it without all of you being here, and we couldn't do it without the fantastic writers like the 4 writers here tonight being down to do it. So we're doing a lot of other virtual readings, book conversations, launches, writing workshops. We're currently open, if you're local to Pittsburgh, we're open Sunday through Thursday, 12 to 5, and Friday through Saturday, 11 to 7. We do have a limit of 5 customers in the store at a time, and some other COVID protocol that you can look up on our website. We're also shipping nationwide and doing curbside pickup. So if you haven't gotten your copy of Hallelujah Science yet, we do have some in stock that you can order through our website for either curbside pickup or shipping. And a couple of events coming up that I just wanted to shout out quickly. So tomorrow night, Saturday the 12th, we're hosting the first in a series of conversations with the contributors to Black in the Middle, an anthology of the Black Midwest. So we're hosting, I think, 7 or 8 contributors tomorrow night, as well as the editor, Terry L. Williamson, for the home panel. So they'll be answering and talking about some questions about home in the Midwest as Black people. And beginning on January 9th, we're hosting Hannah Echo for our first 4-week online workshop, writing workshop of 2021. It's titled Honey is a Knife, How to Tell the Story of Your Life, and a little bit about the workshop. It's a generative workshop focused on learning and engaging with foundational storytelling techniques and how they inform nonfiction, cultivate a deeper understanding of the most powerful way to relay your life through craft, magic, and mindful honesty. So we still have some funding available for that workshop as well. So if for any reason you find the cost to be a burden, you can just email me directly and we can definitely work something out. So you can find out more information about all of that at whitewhalebookstore.com. A couple of notes on our Zoom settings before I talk to you a little bit about Hallelujah Science. So you'll notice that you're automatically muted, and we're going to keep you on mute for the duration of the reading. I also ask that if you're not a reader, that you turn your videos off at this time. It just sort of helps us focus on everybody who's reading a little bit better. So you can find that button if you need to find it in the lower left-hand corner of your screen if you're on a computer. The chat is set so that you can just message me, actually. But please feel free to avail yourself of the chat to send congratulations, kind comments, interactions with the work. I can send the chat log to all of the readers later so they can still read what you wrote. And we'll also do a Q&A at the end, so definitely use the chat for that, and I'll forward everybody the questions at the end as well. Okay, so I just wanted to read one of Hallelujah Science's blurbs, and then I will turn it over to Adriana, who will be getting us started. So in this collection of sharp and tenderly rendered vignettes, Kelli Stevens Kane crafts a burgeoning, addictive narrative that draws from her prowess as a storyteller and a lover of history, saying loud and aloud, from Patricia Smith, who's the author of Incendiary Art. So our first reader tonight is Adriana E. Ramirez. She's an award-winning nonfiction author and poet. She founded Pittsburgh's infamous Nasty Slam, co-founded the Pittsburgh Poetry Collective, and was a slam master for the Steel City Slam from 2006 to 2016. She won the Penn Fusion Emerging Writers Prize in 2015 for her nonfiction novella Dead Boys, and her first full-length work of nonfiction, The Violence, is forthcoming from Scrivener. So I will turn it over to Adriana.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here. I met Kelli Stevens Kane, I think in 2008 or 9 is when you started showing up at the Poetry Slam at the Shadow Lounge, and we hung out together. So it's incredible to think that it's been almost 12 years. And how much our lives have, changed and stayed the same in some ways and in others. So thank you so much, Kelli, for having me. You can tell by my background that I am in shameless self-promotion mode. And Kelli has a poem in here as well. So in the shadow of the mic, you can pick it up at White Whale. And thank you so much to White Whale. It is an honor and a blessing to have readings during times like this and to feel community and to make space for us. So thank you. And I effing love that it's all women of color. And I just think this is great. So Kelli asked me to read this. This is an essay that I wrote in 2018, 16 weeks after my son was born. So it's called On Writing and Motherhood, 16 weeks in. Weeks before the birth of my son, I'd messaged a good friend, also a writer, also a mother. So, how soon after giving birth did you find you could get back to work? What do you mean? She wrote back. Well, I'm working on a book. When do you think I'll have time to get back to writing? It's 2018. Yes. Okay, so probably 2036. I put a 1 line a day mother's diary on my baby registry. My husband saw that I did this and put one on the list for himself as well. It'll be easy, we thought. It's only 1 line a day. 16 weeks later, I'm only a few entries behind. Faithfully filling out the tiny space allotted for each day, I feel good. It's writing, after all. I think about how writing is a muscle, one that needs to be worked out. I have a funny history with muscle, namely that I develop it best when I don't think about developing it all. I played sports, which were really games plus fitness, and later gravitated toward riding my bike over running or any more exercisey exercises. It's the same with writing for me. I tend to write best when I enter joyful flow, which, given the subject of my book, The Violence, may seem odd, but joy is necessary. With the 1 line a day book, the joy is in the satisfaction of completion. I've done it. It is written. I can go back through the last 3.5 months and see little patterns emerge. What I'm concerned about, what's come easy, what little blessings a smile can bring after a long night. The entries have become important to me. They chronicle the feelings of being a new mother, of venturing into this terrifying and unfamiliar terrain, all while healing from the physical and emotional experience of birth. There are tiny gems in this book. Eurovision! Baby R slept through 4+ hours of European song and dance. Israel won, and still the rest of the day was peaceful. These few lines bring me back to those moments in the most Proustian of ways. I can remember bouncing the baby in my arms when he woke from his slumber, dance marching with him to Denmark's Viking anthem, my son, who had just started becoming alert, staring intently at me as I hummed along, trying to figure out what exactly one does with an infant for so many hours between naps, feedings, changings, and walks. Some days the answer was Eurovision. This, I wrote, is joy. My husband started writing along when I did. He would cheat off my entries occasionally, and for a few weeks we kept up pretty well. Now I soldier on alone. He's about a month behind and sees no point in even trying to cheat. Turns out, he said, I have no discipline for writing at all. Before the baby came, I asked all the writer mothers I know how long it took them to get back into the swing of things. One told me it took her 6 months. Another said somewhere between 8 weeks and 8 months. Every baby is different. Another told me she wrote immediately, but everything she wrote was terrible. Baby brain, it kills you. I wandered around in a fog for the first few months, my editor told me. My agent told me to take things easy, not to put too much pressure on myself. Oh no, I wrote in my notebook. I need to get this book done. I need to get this book done. I need to get this book done. It's just been too long. Parts of my book began in 2007. I wrote one version of it for my graduate school thesis, a whole bunch of things that I did with it, posted about it on Facebook, felt good about it, got notebacks, was devastated, began another revision and another revision, all this while dealing with life, which is to say a breakup, surviving a bad year, meeting my future husband, dating him, getting married, dealing with some minor fertility issues, leaving my university job, having a miscarriage, getting pregnant again, having all sorts of complication. What up, gestational diabetes? And finally, this April, having a baby. I'm okay, I wrote 2 days after giving birth. I think I'm okay. I'm mostly okay. I'm a mom. I'm a mom, and I need to finish my book. The facts of the matter are such. I am not the most maternal person. I am not the most disciplined person. I am not a particularly good homemaker or wife. I tend to think I make up for it with sheer charm, but even that can only take you so far. I write like I exercise in intense bursts. I will attempt discipline for a week or two at a time, dieting, writing 1,000 words a day, or I'll go to extremes. Today, without any preparation at all, I'll write 5,000 words and go to spin class. Mostly, though, I'm driven by the pathological fear of missing a deadline, as well as a need to fit into a pair of size 8 jeans I bought in the year 2000. One day jeans, one day. These methodologies carried me through graduate school, teaching, work as a writer, and various other gigs. I got the work done, generally when it needed to get done, but motherhood has complicated things. In my heart, I knew this would happen, that motherhood would be difficult, that a baby is something that requires focus and discipline. But I also kept the refrain in my head of, all kinds of people raise competent and beautiful babies. I knew I didn't have to push myself harder than I needed to, but knowing and doing are very different things. Also, my baby didn't latch. My little one-a-day diary has a few recurring themes. If I could form a word cloud from my entries, the largest words would be breast milk, then book, then pumping, then feeding, then writing, and then failure. My best friend from college tells me I'm not a failure. She does this even before I complain that I am exactly that. Breastfeeding is hard, she messaged one morning. Writing is hard, I replied. She told me that putting her daughter in daycare at 6 months worked for her. She felt more human, more herself. She told me there's no shame in formula, in hiring a mother's helper. Several friends echoed this when I told them of my anxieties over parenting and book writing. That baby is alive and healthy and happy. Your book can wait. You're going to be okay, wrote another friend. When I tell people that I'm exclusively pumping, that I log my production and the baby's intake, that I've become a milk inventory manager and supplier, the reactions have varied from empathy, I don't know how you've done it this long, to astonishment at my failure to adequately feed my child. Have you tried a lactation consultant? Yes. Oh, have you tried blah, blah, blah? Yes, yes, yes. Some babies don't latch, said the pediatrician. Just keep trying. It's a muscle. He needs to learn to use it, or he doesn't, and you'll feed him formula. He'll live. I woke up, my head pressed against the keyboard on my desk, my back aching from the P-shaped curve of my body, and arms on the desk and chair. As I straightened up, I looked at my watch. 2:30 a.m., time to pump. Halfway through the pump, I heard the baby begin to stir through the baby monitor. I disconnected and brought him what little milk I'd made. As he ate, I moved to the computer and shook the mouse with my free hand. I'd stopped mid-sentence. The word count for the night, 50 words, nothing. A paragraph reshaped, another paragraph begun. I'd fallen asleep before I'd even gotten into flow. A quick change, a lullaby, and moments later the baby slept. I reconnected to my pump so that a different flow could begin. You can do this, I wrote in my journal with my free hand. It'll take some time, but you can do this. I looked at my calendar and quickly counted the months to April 2036. When the pump was over, I carried my pieces to the sink, logged and labeled the milk, and put the bags in the fridge. I checked the pantry for the supplemental formula we'd recently purchased, made sure there was enough for the next day just in case, and finally sat down for a minute on the back porch to watch the rain fall in the darkness before dawn. I did not want to think about my garden. The weeds understood better than I did how nature and time simply move forward. I ignored the hot summer rain. I ignored my exhaustion. I sat and just let my mind wander and wonder. Eventually, I had a good thought and made my way back to the computer in my attic office. I jiggled the mouse and quickly wrote 100 words, an idea I'd had while staring into the nothingness of the backyard. Soon enough, my watch beeped. The schedule said it was time for bed, for sleep, for rest. I need to do that too. A male writer I know juggles paternity with writing just fine. He wrote on social media, I wake up early in the morning around 5 or 6, then write my 1,000 to 2,000 words a day. Then parenting begins. A female writer responded, parenting begins? Ha! My parenting never ends. Every parent is different. I can't really judge if it's harder for mothers, biological or not, than it is for fathers. What do I know? My husband has never been asked, will you stop writing now? How will you work with the baby? The same cannot be said for me. I'm going to miss my next deadline. but only by a week or two. And that's not too bad. I'm the only person setting deadlines. My editor and my agent are mothers. They understand it's hard. No one expected me to have anything done this quickly, no one but me. But writing is discipline, it's religion, a muscle you flex daily, an attempt at understanding the divine, a struggle for the sublime. Writing is what I do, not easily, but with work. And there is joy in work, a joy one could say that rivals motherhood. You're giving birth to two babies this year, joked a friend with whom I run a literary journal. Your book and your son. But it's not a joke. Labor with my son took a little over 30 hours. I've been laboring over this book for 11 years. My son laughs now. He giggles when I show him books, loves the textures and high contrast of baby books. His laughter makes my heart swell in a way that is painful and glorious and terrifying all at the same time. I worry for my son. Of course, I told my therapist, my son comes first, over my writing, over everything. No, she said, a mother herself. You do. You come first, so you can better care for your son. And you need to write. You need to write to feel like yourself. I'm working on finding child care, on getting my son on a schedule, and being a mother, and yes, I'm working on the book. Some days, most days, whenever I can. The baby giggled in his bouncer, sitting up and trying to punch a dangling star. I looked over at him. There were 30 minutes before my next pump, and he seemed fine, happy even. He wasn't hungry, he wasn't wet or dirty. He seemed entertained. I sat next to him at my desk, working on my computer, trying to finish a chapter before handing him off to his father. I saved my computer file, pushed my chair back a little, and took in my smiling baby as I measured my words for the day. A few hundred. Not bad. Not bad at all. I pulled out my little diary and contemplated what had happened that day. I wrote today. This, I wrote, is joy. Thank you. This essay is up at the LA Times if you want to read it at home. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Adrian. I've never gotten to hear you read that one. That was wonderful. I'll definitely find the link to that and put it in the chat as well for everybody to read on the page. So next up is Roseanne Smith. Her work has appeared in the Examine Life, Manola Review, and other journals and anthologies. She's the author of 4 chapbooks, most recently Holes in My Teeth and a Pushcart Prize nominee. Her collection, Unearthing Ida, won the 2018 Lyra Bird Press from Glacier Press. She is senior editor with Pudding Magazine and a Cave Canem Fellow. So I will turn it over to Rose.
Thank you. And I guess I should say thank you to Kelli, as well as to White Whale for sponsoring this reading. Kelli, thank you for asking me to join you. Congratulations on your book. I am so very happy to support you in this reading. I will start out, and most of the poems I'm reading are from Unearthing Ida. I will start out with this one, which is Her Father's Voice in 1946. When a country steals your sons. First you shake fists at God and sky when Sam comes for your boys. 5 times you watch him board a bus, promise you to write one by one as days line up, longer till the harvest. Just so many times you make the heart break. You let the heartbreak stiff your backbone up. Take it like medicine, bitter as yellow root, like Solomon's seal when the absence rends your bones. Your arms aching across desert and sea. Some sons you don't get back. Your feet alone left to walk this land they loved. When you can see from here, acres north and south of old Route 1 are me and mine. What we have, what we give, our blood and sweat on every one. Up this road, the house raised also by hard work. Our hands that trowed every mortar line. The lingering songs of glory that carried us through long days. Strong sons' hands at trough and plow, set alongside to help. 15 times the waters broke. Labor rent new life from their mother's cries. Now, even though alive, these sons rise to the commands of men who rally at the call of oil, not the calling of the land. Now even daughters smell the scent of lives not written on this soil. Ida was born in Alabama, lived in Alabama in the late 40s and 50s. This one is called Growing Good Crop. Ida's sister Flora, Alabama, 1959. Don't let them see its signs. Colored only interest markers on property not family owned. How good it is to have your blood's own place, to take your feet, buy your goods, sell extra from your own fields full of generations. Take them through safe places, the general store where open hands lift them high, where memories that linger smell like family fruit. Bolts of cotton fabric waiting to be made dresses, where favorite images long past now will taste like coconut bars picked from big glass jars on the counter, from cousins who bent to smile and take their prize 2-penny payments, where no one made them feel like less. Keep them from spit, from stares, from insults thrown at their young skins, tossed harder than any strap with its tear and burn. Nothing like holding life accountable for the shape young girls' minds take. Let no one brand them prisoner or peasant, Negro, dark one, servant, before they know what they can be. Ida, Ida's life takes a turning point when she has a mental breakdown. She's later diagnosed with schizophrenia, but this is later after the hospital, after she's free, and this is called The Physics of Mentally Ill. Ida, Buffalo, 1967. When she says how beautiful, I make her house perk up and shine like no girl had before, I think of formulas, velocity, momentum, torque, acceleration. Where might I go if? If she prattles welcome, upcoming plans, my job long as I want, gives me keys to servant quarters, I think density, pressure, viscosity, the Bernoulli effect on stagnant air when doors open. When these hands don't listen and lethargy takes presence on my brain. She says, I daydream too much, move too slowly, getting all her things done. I think gravity, weight, inertia, the arc of a pendulum, constant in tomorrow. My vision turned inward, life no longer elastic. Again, again, again. I'm trying to read these quickly because I have 9 or 10 minutes and I want to stick to my time. This poem is called Conversations at the Manor, Rosie, Detroit, 2012. Mother sits in the common room, her face angled toward lap as though a world tugs her head with hidden hands. Say to yourself, Ida. Make it mantra down the hall before you enter. She remembers Ida, Miss Smith, sweetheart. If you are daughter too, say Ida like a promise kept and swallow the breath you held for hours as you drove in from Ohio in your straining Chevrolet, lumbered in from too far distant to be daily familiar for her eyes. Do not say mother as you speak. Say mommy. She remembers you 6 years old with summer conjunctivitis, remembers you curled and weeping when you could not play, holding your eyes open for the balm of healing. And on days she could not leave her shared room cot, kneel to meet at her eye level, watch a child's squint smile consume the empty, the shoulder of elation lift the spread. Even if she cannot say your name, say mommy. Let it live in your up close and watch her answer. Kiss the wilted cheek that glows there still, forehead creased by years of wonder, or the lip crusted from lack. Hear her whisper, love you too. Surrogates, Rosie, 2012. For truth's sake, Ida, I long still to tell you, I remember your trapped doe eyes as khaki held me from you, made you target for his Air Force boots as you cowered. Want to say I was much too young, a bow-legged spritz of girl tucked behind his victory snicker, failing to understand the jagged breach opened deep within you. But to share these broken, useless words would be cruelty with no purpose, while you, so frail, eke your way through long-term care, one hand, one wheelchair revolution at a time. He's gone 3 decades now, a wisp of smoke blowing over desert spans, specter on street corners, someplace where they're serving bud on draft into friction-clouded old glass steins, while his goatee, combed, no longer graying, points toward a memory littered with brash encounters. I want to tell you which came first. You, fresh from psychiatric care, frightened on the stair, or Zola with her strange lilt, strangled Turkish words, who embraced him and her daughter lovingly and fed us, your girls, at arm's length out of pity, thinking what a pair we were, shuffled into her house from nowhere else to go, but worth the extra rent, sugar daddy nights, and smoke-filled rooms saturated with jazz and ready loving. But timelines snagged by second hands serve no purpose in your semi-private room. Your endless days simply sitting, little left to say to strangers, faces that surround you every day. I sit beside you, woman, thinned to skin and bone, and wonder, should I tell you I once hugged Zola too? Buried my face into her soft below, tried to find you there, but never called her mother. She did not smell the same as you to my 5-year-old self, and no one can take that homing scent away, smooth away the imprint long ago ingrained. That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Rose. Wow. I've never had the opportunity to hear you read, and I'm so grateful that I got to tonight. That was incredible. Yeah. I can't wait to get Unearthing Ida.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So next up is Lafrac City, Queens native Mariahadessa Ekere Tallie. She's the author of the award-winning children's book, Layla's Happiness, the poetry collections Strut and Karma's Footsteps, and the book of letters, Dear Continuum, Letters to a Poet Crafting Liberation. Her work has been widely published in journals and anthologies, including Bomb, Black Renaissance Noir, and the Breakbeat Poets, Volume 2, Black Girl Magic. Yeah, and Kelly's got all of them up top. So she is currently a PhD student in the Theater Arts and Performance Studies program at Brown University. Ekere is the mother of 3 galaxies who look like daughters. So I will turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, White Whale, and congratulations, Kelly. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for all of us that we finally get to have your work in our hands in this way. So congratulations, Kelly. And thank you, Rose and Adriana. Amazing, amazing work. Beautiful. I think I'm gonna start with something from Karma's Footsteps. It's for Nina Simone, who is, she's birthed so much. So this is my tribute to her, called Her Voice. Bowl of crushed blueberries, knife edge, cracked calabash, heavy truth, ancient wine and renegade bones. Rise up. Rise up, white wings of doves, tapestry of nerve, daughter of well aimed lightning. Blinded compromise, nail like tongue, bitter root, burnt honey, tornado blackness. Bent backed women walked up her throat, flew straight arrow from her mouth. Mississippi, Gullah, baptism, the Nile, Congo, belly of slave ships, Harlem, potent cocktail of her pitch, black notes, divined riots on piano keys, exiled and passion and turbulent ritual. She was, she was that sound in the racing heart of thunder. I will follow that up with a couple of pieces from Strut. I haven't read this in a while. This is called Lady. Lady, what is beneath your skin? Seemingly satisfied with one uncomplicated man. You've signed his name onto yours, woven 2 lives into a fine garment. Tell me, does he unzip your howl? Trace the etymology of your tears? Is he fluent in your black lace laughter? Does anywhere you go together become rich with the fragrance of lovers? Does your hand brushing his make all the dust settle? Lady, I am red clay swirling. I am a trembling match, licking a scripture's certainty. I walk alone and unravel holy things. I can chew a good man to the gristle. I scare myself every day. A hunter dances beneath my skin. Lady, have you ever seen a tornado in your mirror? How did you cage her before she smashed everything? I will, think I'll read a little bit about love. How about that? How about something about complicated love, maybe? Or complicated something that's not even love. A complicated something. And then I'll go to like the love. Yeah, Adriana is with me on that one. All right, pencil. There are small braveries that do not feel brave. I'm going to start to write in pencil now because nothing is etched in stone. Permanent. Because my heart is stronger than my wrists, and I must. Moment of bravery, deciding to do it, to write. I've said this before. Another, kissing a mouth on a corner on a public street in the sun. We're gonna have a problem, he said. Heat bearing down, giving birth to a relationship that would wring us both out, lay us out to bleach us. Bleach not our blackness, our brownness, which is oceanic and will cover Earth one day, not bleach that unstoppable beauty, but bleach out the ink we defined ourselves in when we signed our names in books and on paper under definitions of who we thought we were. We are not that. I am no longer ink. I can erase any version of me. That's the complicated stuff, right? And now I'll read something that's not complicated. This is like my vision of love that is liberatory. It's called My Love for Him Ends the Occupation. My love for him, inevitable as death, insistent mosquito, redwood roots. A memory in the blood, his glance and honeyed dew saunters down my thighs. Yes. There is a graceless orange howl that escapes my throat, pulls night curtains across the sky. Behind it, the stage is bare, unset, unsettled. Yes. Black people know how to do more than die. Our kisses steeped long and patient, we conjured each other up. Unsettling that we love like this, move invaders out with raw silk feeling. Agogo tongues. Uncolonize ourselves with genuine North Star touch. I get my land back. I get my land back now and then when we move in sync. 40 acres of velvet soil, beds of collard greens, rows of ecstatic tomatoes, dignified yellow corn. I'm not the mule. Out of my house, hopeless feeling like the weather in Leeds, out of my house. The occupation is over. Our loving moves back in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. It's so great to hear your work. So next up, last, far from least, is Kelli Stevens Kane. She is, finding your bio, a poet, playwright, and oral historian. In describing Hallelujah Science, her debut collection of poetry, author Willie Perdomo says Kane's level of insight, revelation, and economy becomes a spiritual exodus to the lands of being Black, white, a poet, a woman, a shadow, and a human being. She's a Cave Canem Fellow who has also studied at Bona, Hurston Wright, and Callaloo. She's read, published, and performed nationally. You can find her at kellistevенskane.com, and I will turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Anna, White Whale, Rose, Adri, Ekere. I mean, this is an incredible night, an incredible reading, an incredible occasion. Thank you, Spite and Dival, my publisher. It took 10 years to find you, and you just were ideal. I'm gonna actually choke up, I cannot believe it. I sent this out 71 times before the magic 72. And so for anyone working on something that's just taking forever, it's so worth it. And I would wait 10 more years and send it out 71 more times to get you, Spite and I will. This audience, I shouldn't have looked, but beloved teachers, friends, just that you would write something that people would want to read and have an event that people would want to attend is magnificent. I didn't know that a book was an excuse to reconnect with people, and just I've been enjoying that so much. I want to take just 1 second to remember Tony Turner, who went missing on the first, well, before that, but we knew the first day of this year. And she is a Pittsburgh artist who is beloved, and we're still holding out hope for her. And so anyway, just with all the things that have happened this year, it's a heavy year with some joyful things that have also happened, but I want to just lay that down. If we were kids and you invited me over, I would have inevitably said, if you asked me, what do you want to do? I'd have said, let's make something. So I found this kaleidoscope that I had made, and it kind of reminds me of the book. If you picture a kaleidoscope, it's also how I feel about our readers tonight. I think we all are pieces of each other falling together, and I'm just so grateful for that. So in the spirit of the book, of the science, of Hallelujah Science, I want to, it just feels like the nature of the book to discover the reading together as it happens. So I did not pick what I was going to read, but instead I found my mom had saved so many old games. So some of you may know about trouble. And since we want to get in good trouble, I'm going to use trouble. And there's also a numerical aspect to this book, which I'll let you experience if you haven't yet. But there's a little thing in here that's going to tell me what to read. I hope that's not too loud. 5. So I'm going to use that to tell me what to pick. And then that's how the reading will. Okay, 5. When I was 5, I used to rise up out of myself and watch me from behind. I told my mama, and she stayed calm. I told my mama, and she let me double. And that is my mom. I'm gonna just jump. I gotta do this. No, I'll skip it. 2. So a multiple of 2 counts. And I'll do this. Terrible boy telling me I have 2 faces, one on my head, one on my stomach. Terrible girl asking if I'm pregnant, saying I look like I am when I am not. Hope it's not too loud. 4. Oh. She is risen. No one will fly higher. No one will enjoy more the loud shouts of angels or the reverse ocean of the sky. I got a fever yesterday because I held too many spirits in me. They got too crowded and started to sweat me out. My mama anointed me with Vicks Vapo Rub, and she put the humidifier on like a constant genie coming out of the bottle. And two wooden birds watched me with their right eyes, and a wooden man beat his drum beside me, and a wooden cat kept watch on the other side. And I was held in place by wooden floors, and I was tucked in by wooden doors, and daylight was framed by the wooden window. And if I could see a bit of glory, I would. And if I could talk about it anymore, I would. Likes 2 tonight. So take the lid off the blender while blending and know that a splatter is pending. 6 or 9. How about turning bad apples into baked apples? I am happy about brown sugar and heat, and look forward to throwing some ice cream on top. I love anything brave enough to melt. Now, I saw Maya's here, and I want to just do this for Maya. These dreams I will carry with me like waves in the air above heat or gasoline. Awake in this flaunted house, all kinds of spirit guests walk through, and they'll just have to watch me eat because I'm not running a restaurant for the dead. They can do like we did in preschool and hand each other pretend food, air biscuits, invisible hamburgers, and double scoops of nothing. I hunger for these dreams. I draw one in, and she curls up, pondering my stomach, tasting womb, deciding nothing. So this just reminds me, most of these poems were written when I was a preschool teacher eons ago. And it occurred to me that the preschool was actually built on top of what used to be a cemetery. And that probably infused this book. It probably has a lot to do with how this turned out. I want to read this. When I die, I will miss the dark green shape of ivy, and I will miss bark chips. When I die, I will miss the sound of any living creature's breathing, the texture of oatmeal, and the sound of a volleyball being punched into the sky. When I die, I will miss indentations left on noses from eyeglasses, the shrinking voice of a child speeding away on a bicycle, singing the Jeffersons theme song, and leaning from side to side on my bike, making sine waves on cement. When I die, I will miss yogurt, thinking about active yogurt cultures, and being multicultural in every spoonful. The feeling of throwing sticks into water and watching them drown. The feeling of sitting on a hot car seat in shorts, touching a hot steering wheel and starting to drive. When I die, I will miss searching the house, scared to find the cause of a sound never before heard. The feeling of realizing an ant is crawling across my skin. And the waking up of every cell when midday, I remember a dream. I will miss swimming and chlorine eyes. When I die, I will miss the feeling of weight, the smell of dirt from above, and the mystery of hidden roots that sew the soil together when I die. Couple more. A 4 will lead me to what? Oh, I always like to rock this like it's a baby. It's okay to use candles in daylight. There's no such thing as too bright. I tell myself secrets out loud. The words are invisible, see? It's okay to drink tea in the shower. There's no such thing as too wet. People should make pictures on everything. Wet feet make prints on the rug. It's okay to walk up the escalator. I don't want to wait around for the ascension. Elevators get stuck between floors. The stairs could stand to be counted. It's okay to close your eyes in the dark. There is no such thing as too black. Clouds go somewhere on a clear night. The moon, unseen, new. And I'm just going to read one more short one and then open it up. There are big silent ovals on the outside of the air. Choir mouths singing, oh, it's where the wind comes from. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelli. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. I'm so happy to be here celebrating you, and I know we all are. I'm gonna add all of our writers to the spotlight. Let y'all unmute yourselves too. Here we go. Yeah. Yay. I don't know if you all want to kick anything off with any, I don't know, comments, questions for each other, or questions for Kelli?
Well, like I was saying, beautiful, Kelli. Congratulations again. Amazing.
Thank you for being here. My goodness.
And Mariahadessa, I'd not heard you before. It was good to hear you. Beautiful work.
Thank you so much. It was a gift to hear all of you. Oh my gosh, so much beauty. I was typing in the chat the whole time, quoting, and you'll see it eventually. Yeah, just amazing, amazing. Kelli, you're so magical. I don't know, and so daring, so magical, so daring, and so unbound. I mean, if I want to ask you a question, it's like, how do you maintain that energy in your work, in your performances, and in your writing?
I guess I always feel like there's a chance to be taken. And I like the idea of taking it in the moment. And I mean, a lot of times I plan out what I'm going to do, but I like to surprise myself. And I think there's something interesting that can happen when you watch somebody figure something out. And I think especially I look at this platform and we're used to kind of being in a meeting or doing something that's prescribed. And so I've been thinking of what can we do that's just different. And one thing is just showing different things. Like I have from another game, like I was going to put, wow, as a reaction, just what's different that you can share. And that can be in in-person readings or here, but I just am interested in experimenting with that. And I don't think that the sense of play or experimentation takes anything away from the seriousness of what you're doing, but it's something that we need. And I hope to bring that.
Thank you. It's beautiful, Kelli.
Thank you. We couldn't do this. I mean, this is one of the bright spots of this terrible time that we're in, that we could be in this reading together, because I couldn't have had you all come and do this with me. So yeah, to look at what we can do.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the idea of using the platform that you do have and producing maybe even like completely different work out of it. No questions in the chat yet, but tons of comments and congratulations. People are so amped to hear all of you. I don't know if, because we're coming up to the top of the hour, did you want to just transition over to the end of the night and saying hi to everybody, or did you want to close on any other particular?
Yeah, if anyone else has any questions, that's fine. If not, I'm a fan of short and sweet. This was beautiful. It couldn't have, you guys exceeded my expectations. I'm just blown away. So yeah, if there's nothing else, I'm fine with just having everyone pop up and
Buy the book. Buy the book.
Yes.
Buy her book.
Buy
Buy
the
all of our
book.
books. Buy all of our books. But specifically buy Kelli's book.
buy all the books. Oh my goodness.
We do have,
I will read anything you guys write.
we have, I think actually this would be a great question just in general, but even to close on, if this is just our one question from Toy. The readers are also different. How and why did you choose these readers, Kelli?
You know, it's all in the kaleidoscope. There was a little theme that I had thought of to help kind of figure out who and what might happen, but I didn't want to prescribe that. But I knew that there was an aspect of mothering and birth and creation and different tones that everyone had. And I really do feel like, even though not everyone knew each other, that I could see that we are part of each other. And you're also part of different aspects of my time in poetry. We've met at different places, we've met at different times and venues, and each of those moments is so dear to me. And to have come away knowing you and knowing your work, it just all made sense. There's always an internal logic, and you guys just were the people who needed to be here.
Double heart.
Thanks for asking that, Toy.
We have another question. It's the same question that two people asked, so I think I've got to pose it if that's okay. So you said this book was submitted over 70 times over 10 years. What sustained you? Did you make any major changes during the process? To you and the other poets, do you have any of your poems that get old that you feel the time to publish them has passed?
Ooh, I can answer that one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I feel like a good test for poems is if they can last. Although, as a slam poet, you know, I would argue there's something for the ephemeral now and the present as well. And so I think the fun of it is that you can find different mediums for it and different places. And so you might have a poem that is for the moment, and so you can do it in readings and get it out there. But then if you have a poem, you know, that you want something different out of, you know, then you might let that be, that poem might not, you know, every poem has its own journey is really what I would say. And you might want to think about your own intentionality and what you want to do with it and where you think that poem should live. Because I often surprise myself and I'll pull out something that I think is kind of dated and then like a couple of little, you know, tweaks and it becomes something else. And I think that's cool. And I think also poems can be like time capsules. And so it's like, this is what it was like in this moment. And that's neat too. So embrace it. Okay, Kelli.
Oh,
Your turn.
how do you sustain it? I'm stubborn. I'm just bullheaded, and just for me, every time I picked up these poems, it just still felt alive. It felt like something, you know, it felt like you pick up, I keep saying this, but you pick it up and it would energize me. So there were times where I never gave up, but I would put it away and just, have had enough, because it's a lot of rejection. But to me, the ultimate rejection is, do I reject it? And when I would pick it up again, it would say yes to me. And then probably every dozen times I'd get a near miss. And so I knew there were others that agreed with me, but they didn't have to, but I knew I was getting some feedback that it could happen. And I just decided that I wouldn't be the one to say no. I wasn't going to be the final no. And I encourage, whether or not you're feeling that, just take the actions of that. You don't have to feel like inspired or hopeful, but you take the actions of inspiration and hope and just do it. And I had accepted it may never happen for me, and it might not be in the cards, and that's fine. But I thought, well, the only way I know it won't happen is if I stop. So I would just continue to send it out. And, again, it doesn't always happen that way, but for me, I happen to find the perfect home and have just the best experience. And in the end, it's what experiences are you having? There's different ways to go about this. And in the end, I had decided, and Ekere, I think it was from you. I think you had said, from now on, it's just going to be, I forget how you put it, but the relationships or something about the experience. And from the moment you said that, I said, that's how I want to do this. And you can't control that, and it may not happen, but it happened. And so every moment of creating this book was Fight and Bible. And they're even here supporting me right now. Every moment of it was so mindful and so beautiful. And so they just understood the work and made every choice that was perfect, even when I didn't know. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers the whole question, but a lot of it.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Wonderful of you to share all of that. And going off of that, there's another question about that publishing process for you, if you don't mind. So you also shared that the book was set to publish years ago, but you turned it down. How did you know that that was the right decision, and what felt right this time around?
Well, I had a lot of near misses of, when you get, some people think that when you get the long rejection letter, that it's a no. And I'm a spreadsheet person. So I had a spreadsheet, and I would always put encouraged. So I had the rejected, accepted, but I had encouraged, because that's an acceptance. If someone takes all of that time, it's certainly not a rejection. So if you throw it there, you're missing that, that was close, because nobody has time to write you all that. So, each time I got close, I had that mindset of encouraged. And, I guess I maintained that energy in waiting for the next, encouragement. And I don't know why I'm like that, but I'm glad I am. And I hope that it sprinkles all to everyone who needs some of it.
Yeah, there are a bunch of people saying that they definitely need it in the chat, and thanking you for sharing all of that. I love the idea. Yeah, not being your final no, and saying encouraged. I'm definitely going to carry those two things. I want to make sure we have enough time for everybody to congratulate you, if that's okay. Did anybody want to close on anything else before we transition?
The one question I had when reading the book was, what made you choose to number the poems rather than title them?
Some of that happened in the process of writing it, and it, to me, almost became like a DNA of the book. And Rachel's here. She mentioned it kind of like being the periodic table of the book. And so, I don't think that every time something that's part of the process, is used, it should end up in the final project. But in this case, and I just also I'm just a number person. So I didn't think of all this at the time, but in retrospect, you know, having a numerical language happening at the same time as a verbal language is so neat. It makes so much sense. And I also, in talking to Maya's here somewhere, you know, it creates a certain experience that you can have. And I don't want to prescribe what that will be, but it allows something else to happen. And I'm really happy with that. And I didn't know, but now I know. So it was just a cool thing that along the way people suggested I should get rid of, and I just didn't.
Yes, stuck to your guns. All right, I will, if everybody's cool with this, I will go ahead and just switch the spotlight off, which will just be me replacing it quick. Okay. So if you all have easy access to your video, feel free to turn that on if you'd like. No pressure if not. You're also able to unmute yourselves now. Yeah, let's maybe have a round of applause.
Hey.
Yay, Kelly.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Congratulations, Kelly.
Wow.
Oh,
From the bottom of my heart, honestly, thank you so much.
so happy for you, Kelly. Yeah.
Hi, Kelly. It's Venus.
Congrats, lady.
Congratulations. I am so happy and proud of you. I can't wait to read your book. I can't wait to read all of you. And also, it's so good to see all of you again. Hey, Mariahadessa, how you doing?
Venus.
Hey, it's so good to see all of you. Such an inspiring, joyful reading tonight. I'm so full. Thank you so much, all of you. It was amazing.
Kelly,
Hey, Kelly.
it's an exquisite book. This is Patricia.
Oh
This is
my
a wonderful place to be tonight. So many gorgeous writers and so much beautiful electricity.
Thank you.
Hey, Kelly, it's Malika. It's so beautiful to celebrate this with you and to see everybody else. Hi, everyone. This is so gorgeous. I can't wait for my book to arrive. I can't wait to read your work. I haven't read it since since Cave Canem. So sending you so much love and congratulations for such a beautiful reading with your community.
Thank you. I just want to scream everyone's name, but I won't. But I'm screaming in my heart.
If anybody else wants to shout out some congratulations quick before maybe one more round of applause.
Yes,
Yay.
Congratulations. I'm so happy to see this book because I've always loved your poetry.
Thank you, Marjorie.
Wonderful to see you, Charlie, and the other wonderful readers too. Thank you.
You're the reason why two of us are here, Marjorie. You know that.
Well, I remember
Three.
that early reading, you guys both at, so.
Yep.
And what wonderful artists you've blossomed into, that was there even back then, so.
Thank you.
Mad love, Marjorie.
Yes, love you too, and really privileged to hear the other writers today too. Thank you.
Hi, Kelly. It's Andrea. I'm just calling to wish you a true and deep congratulations. I remember when you walked into that cafe in San Francisco all those years ago, before you did your first reading. And then I remember that time-lapse everything at one of your early readings. And it gives me such pleasure to see how you've held faithfully on and come to this moment. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know if I can
Alright.
hear. Hello, Kelly?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed this. I would like all of you to know I can't write poetry, but I certainly know it when I hear it. And some of it makes you cry, some of it makes you laugh, and some of it makes you say the hell with it. But my primary reason for being here is Kelli. I feel as if she's my child. And if I see something good that's happening for her, I want to be there. And certainly if I see something bad that's happening to her, I want to be there too. So Kelli, thanks for this.
Thank you for coming.
And it's wonderful. The next time I would like for all of you to say, if Alma's coming there, please provide her some kind of engineer so that she can film in the right places.
Okay.
My daughter is getting started sick and they said, could you please, I started to get on my knees now and I need to get off my knees. So find the way out.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Well, y'all made Kelli
I will
cry.
just
Yeah, absolutely.
say something. Can I?
Please, yeah.
Oh, I just want to say, oh, Kelli, oh, it was wonderful. Just to see you up close like that, reading those poems, it's such an original voice. And it's kind of like haiku or just that straight. I mean, you can't get it any smaller, and it just speaks so clearly and plain and real. And I'm just so glad that you're as stubborn as you are, because that really, I'm glad you're stubborn and beautiful. And I'm glad you have such nice friends. The readers were fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you,
darling.
Thank you.
Respect.
Kelli, do you want to close on a couple of words before?
I
maybe
just
one
want to
last
say
round?
thank you. I'm speechless. I love you guys. Thank you.
Love you too, Kelli.
Love you too, babe. Thanks.
Love you too, honey. Kelli, huge congrats. And thank you so much to the other readers for joining us tonight. And I'll send you all an email with another link to buy everybody's work, buy all the work, read all the work, share all the work. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. And I hope we can all host you again. And yeah, have a great weekend, the best you can.
Thank you.
You.
Take care. Have a good night.